GM, wake up, let's go. Web 2, Web 3, stay in the know. Action, Dabatola, Toki in the zone. Breaking down the latest, straight to your phone. From Web 2 shifts to Web the waves. News, deep dives, hot takes for days. Tech's evolving, the world's in spin. Markets move, let's lock it in. Genzio's here, no time to snooze. Tune in now, get the news. GM. Wake up, let's go. Web 2, Web 3, stay in the know. GM, start the show. GM, wake up, let's go. Web 2, stay in the know. GM, start the show. GM, let's go. Web 2, stay in the know. GM, start the show.
GM, everyone.
GM.
GM to the GMs.
All right, that was I'm a
Look
little.
at this squad.
I need to start singing it out loud. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Okay.
Wake up, let's go. Web 2, Web 3, stay in the know.
GM.
That's not fair. That's not fair. You actually got to sing it out loud. We'll get it ready for next time.
It looks like me when people sing happy birthday. I'm just like, and I don't really sing.
Oh, stop. You know what?
I'm
You know
that
what
guy.
Realize
I'm that guy.
you're replying inside of
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, so you're coming up. Okay, so Blue, if you're watching us on YouTube, Dabs has the power to message as action. So if you see him saying anything, it's not me, okay?
This is so great. I got all these powers
Who
to
agreed to
different
this?
accounts and different things. I don't know. It's just that people trust me, I guess.
That's fair.
So, anyways, happy Friday, and
Action turned on his heater.
oh man, so yeah, no, interesting enough. Just obviously in general crypto news, the first thing I notice is the charts when I get up, and I see Bitcoin had dropped down. At the time, it was 2K, and then
Wait,
all my alts are red too.
Like I'm very hard at like hearing something and understanding. You got to like put the chart up and like so we can all cry together.
I gotta be like that.
We can all lose money on the same
See, look at
chart.
this.
In
Right here.
the arms of the angel.
This is on what, the hourly? Yeah. So
That makes me look disgusting.
Can it go down
Bitcoin
further?
dropped,
It
and
can.
our alts are now. I'm looking to
Free
just drop
falling.
even more, 5 to 10% down. So I guess good opportunity to DCA in, but I think like we're gonna have this choppiness. We got sent a message earlier.
Oh, that's
And I
right.
got to see if I could pull it up, or unless you want to try to pull the image out of Telegram.
I can
and pull it
try
up.
to do that.
But the homie, which we'll plug him in a second, had sent over a chart this morning of what he thinks Bitcoin's going to look in a revisit or revised theory on Bitcoin. So
Interesting.
that's the chart wizard, and it's kind of interesting on what where he thinks it's going first. So we'll get that up in just a second and show him. What do you guys think? Well, once the chart's up, then I want to get your opinions of what you think of that and what your take might be on just general
This
Bitcoin
is
and market.
scary, bro. If this really is the case,
Giving him the preview without even pulling it up.
what do you mean? I'm trying to get it up.
He's trying. trying to get it up. You know?
Pause.
Oh my god.
Wait, no, that
We're
would make
hitting-
sense.
Rock bottom.
So Noah, the chart wizard Noah, which rumor has it he's going to be starting a TA newsletter and some stuff going on.
It's not a
and
rumor.
gonna
He's starting a newsletter, and I want people to sign up for it because he's awesome.
I was trying to do like the easy intro into it, the build up actions, just like, you know what, this is what's happening. To be blunt, it's going down. So we'll tweet out and retweet some of that. But this is what he sent over this morning, just randomly, and I'm like, huh? Like that is scary. And the message was, I think he said October. He was looking at around 160 initially in his theory, but that has changed. So 160K Bitcoin, based off of what he thinks is how Trump's politics are going to be playing out. So, and its effect on the market. So could you imagine this right here, getting into that 52? What would you do if we hit 52? Buy?
More. Buy more.
Buy more, right? But especially if this is accurate, you see it just jump up back up to the 160 then. So
Yeah, this is. Did he give you insight as to why he thinks this?
no. If we didn't have so many people on,
insight.
yeah, no. So next week you'll be able to get more of that detailed insight from him. But no,
You
if
see that slight dip and then it pops back up to kind of the range, that's where I'm going to be trading. And then that's where I'm going to dunk on everybody on the top there, around just over the 100K. And then I'll buy back around 52 when Noah's right. But that little pump just before that major long sideways, yes, is is the action that I want, because I'm about that action.
I thought you wanted this action.
Yeah, I just, dude, you're the man, the myth, the legend, baby. We're always about that action. No, it's a scary sight for a lot of people. And I think that, you know, I continue to tell people to take profits. You never know how long the next bear cycle could last. We were in it for 3 years. People thought it would be a year and a half, probably half of the time that we endured. But regardless, there's always something to be bullish on, whether it's the tech, whether it's the community, whether it's mining, whether it's RWA. So
I am
really
of the mindset that I like to pick fights. So I think the community narrative is BS that companies are using to extract value out of people and get their marketing done.
I also agree. I think that
you said it was about the community.
It is. And I'm not talking venture capitalist funded communities. So I think a lot of the more organic communities you can kind of tell versus communities that are just money are thrown at, VCs are thrown at. You can obviously tell who's connected with people and different projects versus, you know, they're just trying to build up their chart. They're trying to throw people on their side.
So
But
Tony,
you
what
guys
do you
also
think of
mentioned
VCs that are
70,000 in a
communities?
stream like 2 weeks ago, and now we're at 84, 83. You guys totally went the wrong way. And I think that Noah's completely wrong on the 50s. So I'm going to just call it out now. I think he drank too much of the sauce and got paranoid because maybe he didn't have a job. But now that we got him a job, I think he'll be doing fine. I don't think he's going to be so bearish, and he might be on the optimistic train and start eating the opium pills again. Hopium pills.
opium pills. I was like, there's opium pills?
But I love Noah to death. He was a fucking legend to hang out with, man. I don't think it's going to 52.
So, Doodles, let me ask you a question. What's your community like?
My community's dope, dude. We have mostly artists. There's traders. There's founders, people that create their own projects within our community. I've helped them with stuff with monetization. I've helped them with smart contracts, helped them with doing IRL events, promotion, marketing. We got a lot of dope people in our community. Our floor price doesn't always necessarily, rectify the asset value of our NFTs.
You realize that you're not explaining that you guys started out.
Yeah, see the triactin. See, people are taking the hopium and triactin.
So hang on a second. Let me make sure I got this right. You're saying, Tony, that the floor price of what, like, you got to explain to people. Yeah, we start a community based on NFTs. We're XY. Like, come on.
Yeah, so basically,
You're not good at your
originally
shill, Tony, and you
Yeah.
run
No,
shill
I'm not.
spaces.
This is not a Twitter space, baby. This is primetime stream. So basically,
All right, we need your A game. Come on, bring it.
Okay, A game. Originally started Doodlegenics as an NFT community and an art collection. Back in 2022, we had 400 NFTs on Solana. We sold out 9 days. We quickly grew in popularity. More people wanted NFTs. Our floor price jolted to 44 a soul. Soul was about $8 to $10. So it's roughly about like $450 to getting involved with us. We decided to go to Ethereum, and Ethereum has been great. We've expanded our community. So Action was asking me about what our community is really founded on. Doodlegenics is registered as a technology-based company. Our focus is to help companies, artists tokenize on-chain, whether it's NFTs, RWAs, meme coins, community tokens, creator tokens, whatever. So
How much does it cost to be part of your community?
0.25 Ethereum. So
Man, wow. You see, guys, this is the wrong answer. You should never say that you charge to be part of a community. But if you want to support a community, you can.
He said
go ahead.
0.
Yeah, no,
0.25.
Yeah.
Well, to own an asset from our community, it's 0.205. But Action is completely right. You guys could always, join the spaces, be a part of Doodlegenics. These are the bears. These are our sexy bears. And I think NFTs are coming back.
There were miners, now there are bears.
I'm extremely bullish on just the NFT community in general. I've seen the doodles go from under an ETH back to like 3.5, 3.2 ETH. We've seen the Macy's and some of the bigger collections crumble, but continue to grow in popularity. So I got like 3,000, 4,000 of these JPEGs. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. Action, Toki, Dabatola.
Are you bearish?
No, I'm not bearish.
Oh, okay.
I'm just, I have more than I can actually use for use case.
But
I think I need to get some.
that
I kind of like them.
meaning here.
No, we've had a lot of cool IRL events for them as well too, and that's been a little bit of the value of owning them. But we have a really big digital community, Telegram, Twitter, Discord. We have about 3,000 members out there as well too. So pretty active and vivid community. All bunch of creators, all bunch of crypto enthusiasts. Yeah, man.
These guys need to be doodled, or need to be doodlefied, or whatever, or join the doodle community.
Well, Action bought some, man.
Oh, Action, you have
Action bought some. I'm pretty sure he was in a space with us. He was buying some bears. He bought some apes. He bought some other bears as well too.
Terrible financial decisions, guys. Can't you tell?
Rough.
No, I do. Like, let's be serious. Like, this is not financial advice. Please don't just follow me blindly. Look into it. I may have purchased. You guys want to see the purchase from yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh,
y'all gonna judge me for this one, but I don't care.
Absolutely.
Is to other people.
I'll brought the Pringles
back.
These are
kind of like
Croc
relating
boots.
it to Bitcoin. A common
What
question
audio is coming through?
Isn't that just
can you hear it?
Bitcoin?
That's so I can't hear it, but you can hear it.
My
That's weird. Okay.
gut
Talking about
me?
Bitcoin in the back.
Do you still hear it?
No, I couldn't hear it. Only you guys. But thank you for letting me know. Please.
Those are
let
the
me know.
Pringle Crocs. Those are the Pringle Crocs.
They are the Pringle Crocs.
The what?
The Pringle Crocs.
Crochets? What?
These are for $dollars, Blue.
So what's the, like, I guess I could understand the one for the, is there a Pringle
AirPods?
can that goes in the
And
one?
Pringle
in the-
cans. Yes.
Oh, AirPods. I was really trying to figure out what the other one was for, because I was like,
Yeah.
is it like for your can of Pringles or just cans in general? And then
I mean, if you want to put some corn in there, I mean, that's
you playing Sunflower Land? Is that what you're worried about right now?
So tell us what your decision was behind this purchase.
I was pressured into it because I was told that I need to wear these in the desert of Dubai.
Of Dubai. Bougie.
Scott, did you tell him to do this?
No, no, it was it was another person. Yeah.
I've seen this on like one of the weirdest inventions or one of the TikTok things where somebody reviews some of these odd Amazon products. Was this on Amazon?
This was not on Amazon. This is just a buddy of mine that basically talked me into it. It's like, do it, man, do it. I was like, all right, fine, I'll do it. I also purchased something else yesterday that I want to go over with you guys that I think is really, really cool. Scott, you're aware of octominers, right?
Yes.
How much is an octominer? Do you know?
Now?
Yeah.
Well, we're on a space, so I think I have a little what's it called? Insight to this. But they were like when they first came out, weren't they even like close to $2,000, maybe even more?
2,300 for the Octo Server Flux Edition.
Okay, and now what is the price?
It depends who you get it from. That's what I want to fill you all in with.
Because somebody had said something.
There's
something in the space where somebody was like, "You get the case, not necessarily the Flux Edition, but it was like for like a few $100s now."
What's better than that? Here, let me.
It's better than that.
I'm gonna get a coupon code to go along with
Alibaba.
No. Okay, so here's what happened.
Alibaba.
Right, so here's the Octominer website. Now let me share this tab, and I'll put it on screen. So this is the Octominer. I just went to the shop section. This is what the Octominer looks like right now. The Flux Edition is the beefy one, but like these work just as well. But you're looking at $600 for this miner, for example.
Plus GPUs.
Yeah,
right?
So that's the thing. GPUs not included.
GPUs not included.
Yeah, there's another 10K.
But here is something that I found out about. So about a year ago, there was a company that was looking at doing. Yeah, it went right over my head as usual.
Usually it's the other way around.
I know.
Like,
I just
you say something and I'll just keep going, and I'm like,
you know why it was deceiving? Look, it says the only smart GPU mining rig minus the GPUs in the. It's like right in center, right on the stage, right?
Well, it's already out of stock, so you're not getting one.
Well, that's what I want to talk to you guys about. So there was a company that was investing heavily into GPU miners for ETH, and they, essentially did not follow through. They did not come through with their whole purchase. And that means I'm just getting a coupon code ready for you guys so you know what's going on here. Anyway, so this is way too expensive. It's not worth it. And these guys right here, they bought a boatload. Like they have thousands of those octominers, right? So if you go to, this is PCserversandparts.com, share this tab instead, they're $300.
Damn.
Whoa.
Wait, that's not all. You get it packed with 4
No way.
Yeah.
So for somebody not that technical, what does the extra graphic cards do? Helps you with the mining?
They actually mine. You can mine right out of the box with this. Like you don't have to spend, like
the GPU money.
Yeah. So I think share this. You don't have to go to this. Plus, get the cards. These guys are literally shipping everything all together. It looks like a scam. How cheap it actually is.
Yeah, it does. Like $300. I mean, okay, I can.
Gosh, should we just buy a bundle and see what happens?
I did. It's coming, so I should get it in a couple of days to check. I'm doing the testing for y'all, so you don't have to.
Well, you're the 5th review on the 5 reviews, and it's 5.
Bro, my electricity's cheaper than yours. What are you doing?
I'll send it to you. I just want to know if it shows up. It's way too cheap.
Well, if this shows up, we're printing. If it doesn't, we got rugged again.
Dude, that's how much I'd pay for these 3.
You notice we got rugged for $100 together, and now we're upping it to $300. The next thing you're gonna drag me into is gonna be for like $1,000.
I know I paid for this already, guys, but if you just chip in $100 right now.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
We got an expert. Yeah, we got an expert in the house.
Definitely we're on your power bill action.
Exactly. Yeah. For me, it doesn't make sense as far as power is concerned.
My Toki, though, he's going to go in and hit up the Amish that are going to be like pedaling, and they're just going to generate power for him, and it's going to be much cheaper.
That nice 3 to 5 cent range, you know?
Yeah, there you go.
So I reached out to Red Panda Mining, and apparently this is legit and it does work. And I got a code, which is RPM PCS P5.
So if it doesn't show up, then
Panda
and he gets a
Mining.
cut, you got to go to him for your money. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. So it comes out to be a little bit cheaper. So this is the price out the door. I'm
It
not
comes
getting
out a little bit cheaper.
Yeah, so $84.99. That's like the price I paid out the door, which is
Well,
not,
look, if anyone's watching who's interested, if this actually shows up for you, then it's a way that for under $300, somebody could get into mining, and you just got to probably have power of like 10 or 12 cents or less, is my guess. Just
I
on
agree.
average.
That's where you want to be.
So when does it become unprofitable? When your power consumption it becomes.
It depends on the cards. Yeah, this is it's not as easy to like solve for that because
calculate.
There's a lot of factors in it because technically at different times you could be mining in negative, right? But then if the token price goes way up, it could be a totally different thing if you're token like 5x's.
Bingo.
So even with Bitcoin, if you were running negative, but then Bitcoin goes to $400,000 in the next like couple years, the DCA range of the down part of the electric bill that you pay versus the profit, you know what I mean? Like it's like DCAing at that point.
It also depends on where you are in the United States, because for my situation, I could potentially use like 3 of those in my basement as like extra heat. And then I could just use like a pellet stove and the miners instead of trying to run electrical heat the whole entire time.
I think this would be good for Canada because we're very cold and we need more energy. So no, that's dope, Toki. That's super dope, man.
You know, that's how I heat my house. I haven't had to use a heater all winter this year.
Also, living in California helps a bit too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You don't really get cold weather. You get like 3 days that it's like
I'm talking like
degrees.
The negatives, both Fahrenheit and Celsius.
No,
negatives.
You're in a state. Yes,
bro,
you get negative weather.
Yeah, no, I'm a little spoiled. I gotta say.
Did you go down to the GDC action, or were you in Vegas?
And it's up. I did not go up to the GDC. No, okay, cool. But dude, like if it's 50 or less here, we're all dying. So
yeah.
Yeah, that's 10 degrees Fahrenheit for the Canadian in the room.
No, that's 10 degrees Celsius, not 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Yes, My guy, come on, the poor Canadian.
10 degrees.
What did I say for
we're
that
in
other
a t-shirt. We're in our shorts.
We're
usually around like -5. We just got hit by snow in Canada, so I'm just happy that we're abroad here. We got to go in the middle of the desert very soon to the Dubai. So.
Action, we're going to further Americanize you since you messed up that Celsius Fahrenheit thing.
I did the math in my head right, though.
Yeah, you're pretty spot on there.
You're on point.
I'm good at Americanized those numbers the other day.
Toki, how cheap is your electric rate?
Depends on. So I got 2 different places that I could potentially run it at. One of them is closer to. I want to say it's closer.
One's legal and one's illegal.
No,
that's what he's trying to get at.
One has like the setup for all that kind of stuff. The other one doesn't necessarily have like the electrical setup, so I'd have to like change that over. But the one's running at, I think it's like 10 to 11 cents, and then the other one ranges between, because it's a cooperative, so it can go anywhere from like 5 to I think like 16 cents depending on the time period.
So it varies.
You probably average 10. Probably just regardless. That's not bad.
So what is it per kilowatt? Is that what you guys the measurement?
Yeah. Per kilowatt hour or something like that?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
how we use
I feel like I should know this, but I'm just
it's funny how we use kilowatt, right?
Yeah, right.
So am I on the wrong metric system now?
No,
you're good.
No, you're on the metric system. We're on every sort of system. 50 cents in Cali?
Why? You're trying to survive?
My electric bill
move
would
somewhere
be
else.
would be like $2,000 a month if I lived in Cali.
Whoa,
Holy
that's
shit.
blue. I have an electric vehicle, so my rates are way better. Okay, way
Well,
better.
you have solar, don't you? Have a lot of solar.
I do, but like these are my rates right here. It's 71 cents peak hours.
I was like, am I reading this wrong? Like,
at-
does that say
honestly,
does that say what I think it says?
At that rate,
Here's what it is.
I would turn everything off.
Off peak, super off peak, right? So
I
yeah,
would turn
you
everything
pay
off. I'll
close
get generators.
in the evening when I'm charging my car.
Do you have solar?
I have 32 panels.
Dude, get more.
This is how they get you to
Don't
install.
produce enough. I'm still
California.
spending about $5,000 a year right now on electricity.
Dude, this is how they get you to buy the solar though. They're just like, guess what? You're gonna pay 70 cents and you're gonna be like, all right, I'm put solar in my house. Because I think the law in California is every new construction needs to have solar for residential, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, so it's moving in that sort of trend. So I would think that
Bro, we are
rates high, they push solar,
free in
solar kicks
California,
back
okay?
money to
We are
electric.
free.
Free.
Falling.
That electrical rate.
So what about
They got you on
broadband-
lockdown. Otherwise, you got to
We're,
turn
we're
everything
free
off.
falling over here.
Dude, did you dig a hole in your backyard like deep enough where you could put like perishables, like fruits and vegetables in there, and the earth temperature keeps it right, and you just turn off all your power to your house and still
They're
have.
actually really good.
See?
Deep sellers.
See? What?
No.
Yeah.
If you ever want to build one,
You
let me
have
know. I'll
chickens
go.
already. He has chickens already. Now he needs a deep cellar, and
I pick
Good.
my things fresh, bro.
You pick your what fresh?
He's like, I can't put
Oh,
chickens underground.
he's got fruit trees and everything in the back. He's
Yeah,
got
I
fruit
got,
trees
I
and
got
everything.
100 yards of passion fruit. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 orange trees. I have 2 pomegranates. I got a fig. I
You know,
got
it'd be cooler if those were all banners.
dreams. I have 2 lemons. I have a huge macadamia tree. I have sugar cane. I have dragon fruit. I have
You have dragon fruit. Damn.
oh, yeah.
And then
and
and
then I have
And then,
cherries.
and then
and then,
Let me think. There is more. Oh, I have a peach tree. I have
and
an apple
then,
tree.
Strawberry
and
bush.
then.
I have two strawberry bushes, 1 raspberry bush.
this guy's got a nursery in his backyard.
Basically, it's pretty amazing. I'm not
And
gonna
then
lie.
he's got
I love
like
it.
Yeah, that's
His
crazy.
next job was he was working for Santa Monica, so he was doing all the seed plantations. No, I'm just kidding, dude. What about people that would
Wait, who?
he said
at
you
San
were planting
Monaco?
seeds
I
on
think
a plantation.
they're like
Who's San
they're like
Monaco?
No,
San
Monsanto.
Monaco.
Man,
Monsanto.
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 My guy, I was like, yeah, bro, he's going down to Santa Monica to wait. What?
You go work
What
on a
was this?
plantation.
Monsanto.
Wrong
right?
kind of seeds.
Montana? You're talking about the genetic altered.
Yeah.
Yes. He's got half of it in
I
his
grew a bunch
backyard.
of corn last year. That was pretty tasty.
Sweet
So
corn.
this
Planted
is
corn.
Oh, I also have bananas.
about the market.
Papayas. I forgot about those.
Okay, guys.
I got more. I just
Well,
can't
actually
think of it.
selling the extra fruit for Bitcoin. So
This is his
we can get-
RWA play.
This is
Actually,
what
I'm
Having
an
RWA
orchard in the
Get out of
backyard.
That's how we switch this
selling
back to
eggs
crypto.
every week. I'm selling
We go like this. His
5
RWA play
now.
is eggs and a nursery, soon to be launched.
Wait,
So
so if we just
we
buy
heard
your
it
NFT
first.
collection, we can come and pick up eggs every month, right?
no. He could come. He could ship the eggs
Mm.
Oh.
to us very carefully. But I ain't driving all the way out there to pick up eggs. Although it might be cheaper than buying them.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly. Guys, we have managed to spend half an hour talking about not much.
It's all
Hey,
related
now.
to
Hey,
crypto.
now.
If you're using crypto to take profits and then spend it on things like fruit trees and chickens and other things, so you could tie it back into crypto.
Well, if there's anything we should say is we should push it over to action for a wonderful special announcement. Actually, that's a good idea.
This question, it's more of a curveball than anything.
It's not really
Action,
a
read it
question.
out loud.
No, it'd be
You all were freezing for a second. That's why I like paused. I'm like, I'm gonna.
Oh
stay
my
still.
guy.
no. The comment have sensors all over that run off HNT and track shipment with VeChain. So let's look at, for example, Amazon. What does Amazon, do you think, use when it says like your package is 10 stops away or it gives you those things? It scans, and then is like the last leg of it just purely GPS? Is it triangulation? Is it, I'm wondering how it is. I'm wondering then if what the comment would do, if this was possible, is actually give you real-time data of where it is at anything, whether it's in a car, even not needing scanning, just all automatic.
I have a way to do that.
Okay.
It's
DePIN?
called Nodal.
Nodal?
Yeah. Like it's not super profitable to quote unquote mine, but it's an incredible network.
That can be used for tracking
Yeah.
like that? All right.
Yeah. And they're actually making money right now. So they have like some companies that are literally giving them money to track vehicles and those sorts of things.
ZK Sync is getting involved with everything.
Yeah,
That's
no,
all you
these
hear.
guys
Is getting involved with
they're
everything.
good people too. If y'all search on the channel, like I actually have some videos with the founder.
Oh, ZK, that's cool.
No, with the Nodal founder.
Oh, sorry, actually.
Oh, look
Now-
at the
Dude,
group of misfits on the screen here. This is the crew that's going to be bringing you content from events, and other stuff. So,
And with that in mind, Action. Can you throw up our special announcement real quick?
Breaking news action.
Breaking news.
Did you
Let's
post
go.
it? Can I see it? Is it there?
Yeah, I sent it to you. It's live on Genzio.
Genzio X account.
Boom.
Everything you need to know. Web3.
Is that it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
That's
that's
right,
right.
our
Our special
special
guest
guest.
is Conduit Network. Join us for. Oh wait, I thought Tony was our special guest. Is he just a staple now? He's not a guest.
he's just
anymore?
special. Tony's just special.
No special guys.
Here's our
Yeah, so we got Brandon Baker. Let me zoom out for the
Ooh.
graphic.
So after the comedy show and silly banter here, Action is going to get a little bit more serious and speak with Conduit.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch shirts. It's gonna be the one that's like a built-in tuxedo.
Oh, this is today at 1. Nice. I thought he was joining us this morning. That's nice.
He is joining us this morning. As soon as y'all leave, he'll stick around and we'll have a conversation.
Actually going to put on his sports coat. And things are going to get technical here, right?
Yeah, like Michael Scott for Christmas. I'm Santa Bond.
You know what? The other night, randomly, I don't know how it came up when I just refreshed YouTube, but it was like 30 minutes of bloopers when recording The Office. I just put it on, and they were hysterical. Like where they mess up and they all just start laughing at each other, or they say like wrong stuff on purpose to get everyone to laugh while filming. It's good.
So you're telling me that we can probably do that here?
With our stuff? By us? With bloopers? Oh, sure. You've already done it multiple times to me with shorts. I was expecting more. I expect at least 1 or 2 per stream of me
Those shorts are
acting
amazing.
ridiculous.
Do you know
And I
what?
want them because I want to post them on my
It's
channel too.
amazing.
Huh? You're
Yeah.
short? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, this short is amazing. Yes, because I'm short.
I thought you were fun size.
Oh, wait.
Bro,
Pull
all
up,
right,
pull up the,
You're the-
fun size,
what's
bro.
it called? The thumbnail that we had for today's thing. The cartoon, the whatever it is. The
So I totally missed this. I woke up, did a stream. Scott jumps in, a bunch of people jump in,
You had
and they
no
start
idea.
ambushing me with this cartoon. And I'm just like, did everyone wake up and just love anime for a fucking all of a sudden? And I'm seeing like everybody under the sun tweet about anime, and I'm just like, well, I'm an Asian, and then what the fuck did I miss? Excuse my French, but the
pretty
cutest
sure that's
person
English,
on
though.
this one is probably the second guy because he's got cheeks, and the rest of us have beards. So you're looking amazing, bro. Action.
Yeah,
I look
where
sober.
where did my
I look
beard
sober,
go?
and I have no blunt in my mouth. And
Where did my beard go? That's all I'm curious
You
about.
look like he definitely made you look like the
smiled
oldest
right off
guy
your face.
in the
Oh, no.
cartoon.
Yeah, no, Scott, you look like the old man in the picture for sure.
Yeah, I am old. I am the old man.
No, you're
I'm
not
like-
that old. The cartoon made you look older.
I'm
not
like
gonna
it's,
lie.
I look like I'm like 65 trying to be 35 and just completely whacked.
I look like
And I'm
someone's
trying to
dad, and
pretend.
I can
I'm
be
trying to
someone's
pretend
son
I'm not. I'm like,
in the video.
you know, like so. Anyways, but the thing is,
yes, we Toki, take note.
Muppets next.
so wait. I have a thought
Big Shield
about
energy. I
this
like
whole
that.
look about this meme or whatever in the token launch. I don't know what offhand. We could probably pull it up to see what the market cap is. It's probably like 30 or 40 million. And the chart looked okay. But with as much as I've seen of it in my newsfeed, I think I said this on the space last night. You could tell the meme coin market is pretty cooked or exhausted, because that would have probably ran to like 300, especially on the first day with a Kraken listing and a couple other things. Like it really should have ran in over 100 million easily then. But it was
that
in
where all the
30,
Bitcoin
so
money went?
I don't know. Let's yo, wait, hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Pull it up. Pull it up.
Tech screener.
There was somebody that was massive
Oh,
just
is
using
this
the
the right
artwork.
one?
I forget who it was.
You mean
my
Sam
screen up?
Altman did it?
There was a few of them. There was a few massive accounts.
All right, check it out. So this
Is it
is
Wow.
this is the chart for it. So this thing was totally destroying our timelines yesterday, right? When we were talking about on Spaces right here, this is like 9-10 o'clock last night, and this is where it was near the all-time high of 35. Look, it dropped with the market down to just under 20. Not saying that it can't recover. It's got, well, volume's down. It's 44 million, still really good. But my whole point is, I'm not saying that this can't go up, but we've seen over the last year with meme coins specifically, if they have some traction or some hype, or it's something like the peanut squirrel or something like that, you saw it all over your feed for a day. It went to 300 million. It got a couple listings. It went over $1 billion. So this looks like it did a tenth of that, in my opinion. So that's why I think meme coins are a bit exhausted at the market at the moment. I don't think they're really going to come back until we see like 100K plus Bitcoin, Solana over 200. Just my opinion.
Maybe.
Maybe
the thing is that
Somebody
this
got
coin right
We're all
here
gonna get
acted
wrecked.
almost exactly like how the meme is going to act, where X took it up really quickly and then it's going to fade out just as fast, and the new trend's going to come in. And so this one's feeling more like that kind of trajectory, and not so
But
much
still,
like
30
it's gonna
million?
keep up.
Think about how much BS we've seen shoot to 100 million. Like before.
Think how much we're
this year.
bleeding on the other side, where you're watching just straight down arrows.
No,
as
no,
far
no,
as
I know.
Bitcoin goes. Like no one can sustain it. There's no altcoin is going to be like, yeah, man, let's hop into this coin right now. We're going to be
Wait.
trading our buns off.
Wait,
Like
hold on a
no,
second.
I'm not shooting my money out to somewhere else in the hopes
it.
of that it could potentially just shoot down further.
I'm going to
Yeah,
plug
let's
a
take a
random
loss for
wait,
another
no.
loss for another loss.
I'm
And then
gonna
let's
plug
trade
a
it all back
random
for
meme coin
another
now.
loss.
Here's the plug of the random
Sorry.
meme coin. That's on Terra. No, we know somebody, a friend of ours, got really into Terra, and I must have say that I got in on like, I forget if it was a pre-sale or not, but I got in super early and was able to get initial out. So I still hold. But then he launched this based off of the co-founder, Steven. and
Chatu.
And even though, like I forget, maybe a week or two old, it's got a few hundred on it. Let's see.
I think it's kind of funny.
Following?
Did
But
the main
the
that
thing
happen
is,
or not?
Look, considering the chart, like and what it did, it went up to 200K. Like for a small meme, especially one on Tower, and even with the way the market goes, the chart looks all right. I mean, it's
no
at 100.
liquidity there yet, which
I
is
know.
crazy. No, I'm like, this is great for where they're at.
100K and on Tara, I mean,
What
and
is going
considering the
on with
market.
this screen?
I mean,
is it-
100K
Yeah,
wouldn't
like
No,
even
some
make
sorry.
a
weird
splash
Let's
on
start
dude
with
Twitter.
dancing
Twitch.
in the background.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if it was like flashing.
It was the
or not.
Giga Chad, man.
Oh my
Giga
God,
Chad's
you're right.
in the back, bro.
Yeah.
Looks like a
I was
Giga Chad.
confused. I was like, what is Dabs doing in his free time?
No. So I mean, yeah. Check it out. Tara's an interesting one, and see meme coins pop up on there. But definitely want to shout it out. It was a good time, anyways, to sort of bring it up, being that we started talking a little bit about memes. But it's cool to see friends trying to get some stuff going and have some fun and build out the community. I'm in the Telegram, hanging out. I hold a little bag of it, so you got to support the homies. And then what I was talking about earlier when Doodles was explaining, I'm a holder. I got
That's
my
a real
doodle.
dabadoodle right there.
So I've been
Look at
holding
him.
for a minute. I got a few others. Got the pipe there, but
Wait,
yeah.
Doodle, when are we getting those chains out? That one's sick. I haven't made
That
those
one's
yet.
sick. That's the Doodle Sachi chain. That's
Oh wait, should I go back to it?
version of
Hold on.
a.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
our
Can you
version
zoom in
of.
on that chain a little bit?
Yeah, he's
That
got
can
3
control
on actually.
cups.
He's got a big boy chain. He's got the green emeralds, and then he's got a mini Cuban
Oh.
link. He's smoking out of a gold pipe. This guy, obviously, he's
the
got
man.
class, just like Dabatola. He's
What's
wearing a
up?
nice
Do not smoke
sheepskin.
gold itself. Heavy metals in your lungs. Do not it's not a good idea, guys. Just throwing that out there.
So yeah, where were we then? We just went on the little meme path around, but and then to that.
I'm waiting for some of the traditional ones like Pepe and Brett and Doge. I think Shiba Inu still has a little bit of life in it. It's hard. It's hard to have a big bag of meme coins, and having like maybe 5% exposure of your total portfolio is enough because things move so quickly. Stay away from the memes. Exactly. Stay away from the memes.
It's a casino, like we throw bar tabs around. If it hits, cool. And if not, we usually have fun getting rugged. At least we did in Denver.
Yeah.
And it only cost us like $30 each to have an amazing time.
And we need to show those
exactly
emotions.
the casino.
We need to show the emotions of total euphoria and then total capitulation and time frames of how fast things could happen. Action. I'm looking at you, trying to look you in your eye right now. We need you to drop the video.
We do need to drop that video, but I think now's the time, right?
We'll play it right now for 4 minutes.
Just to show.
You can see the happiness in Tony's face and then the pure sadness in Tony's face afterwards. It's just like, my guys.
No, but with
I won't say anymore.
And it being like a casino, and you saying, Tony, like the emotions, the high to lows, right? Like actually casinos, real casinos, I think most people go in knowing it's like entertainment and that you hope
knowing the odds are not on your favor.
So if you lose, you're like, and then there's the real small that bet their lives on it. And those are the couples that you see. Hey, I lost everything mortgaging my house on a meme coin. So you got to understand that there's an entertainment value there. You're throwing some bar tabs around and you walk out a huge winner. Cool. There's very few that have the real inside information or the strategic information, and those are the ones that are always posting their profits and getting others to jump in and get wrecked. So
question for the group. This is a very serious question. Should meme coins come with a gambling disclaimer in the United States?
They keep
I don't know.
Getting
it's like
pigeonholed under collectibles, and it's given them like this leeway to rug people and like pull the liquidity. I don't think that they're collectibles. I think that, on every meme token, there should be volatility risk. So I definitely agree, Toki.
I don't know if there should be some, I don't know, we mean disclaimer. Like,
okay, maybe on every single site where you can trade for a meme coin, it has to be like a gambling disclaimer. And if you need help, you can go here for gambling help because it's bad, bro. It is bad.
I can
the
see
amount of times
way,
I've seen someone be like, "Oh my god, I put all my money in Peanut, and now it's gone." Like, bro,
who have you been talking to that talks like that?
Have you ever
People
been
that
in
are
Discord
under
for
20
person that lost Tom Peanut because they got kicked in the nads?
I think I know who you've been talking to.
They got kicked in the peanuts.
Wasn't this
man? His Jakey's value went down.
Fight
it was almost 300. Now it's probably like $130.
Yep.
Oh. Yeah, $129 even.
But one so is one so.
I guess if you hold it could say that one day you did it for maybe $1 million, but I don't know if it'll ever get that high.
Oh my god. Best
So
part is I literally just
bottom.
traded some soul out to go play a stupid game for a little bit. And then I was like, oh, maybe I should put some back into soul. And I was like, nah, I'll just hold it in something else for now. And then just watching soul drop, and I was like, man, made the right decision.
Soul's a meme coin right now, man. Soul's a meme coin right now.
Isn't every altcoin a meme coin?
Basically, at this point.
This is how Toki wants to like round out the hour, is with saying that every coin's a meme coin, to just then have action talk with a serious project that's doing some good stuff. And then,
well, I think that's a good way to go about it, because it's like
you're not a meme coin.
Actually, yeah.
You're not a meme coin, but Toki thinks you are. Toki's not here to explain exactly why. So I'll put words in his mouth. Now that sounds like action. That's
It does sound like action.
Go.
I would definitely roll
It'll
with
be
that. I probably will run that, to be honest with you. I'm trying to copy this this link that what do you call it? That this
Are you getting the video?
put in here.
Oh,
No, I'm not getting the video. It's on my phone. I don't have it on my computer.
You run it on a Mac. Just airdrop it.
Why don't you just send
I'm
it
not
to the
sending it on a
group
Mac.
via
I'm sending it on a
Oh.
PC.
Send it to me. I'll send it to you. It's fine.
Google
That's not
Drive.
confusing.
You know what, how about let's debut it on Monday?
Ooh,
Or
I like that. We'll debut it on Monday, and then we'll get people to like share it out, and like we'll post it while we're live.
there we go.
All
I think it has some virality or something. I don't know how to say the word. But.
All right, talking about virality, how are you? Because I heard that this was going on over there where you're at, Tony.
Yeah, this was scary. I was on the top floor sleeping in that exact condo. We can't go swimming anymore. And
I thought you were swimming. when that happened.
No. A lot of people got free showers. No, I'm just. This was actually in Bangkok, so thank God I was actually here in Pattaya. But I woke up with a lot of calls. I slept through the day, most of the day, so I can be here today, this evening, this afternoon, this morning. So I totally missed a lot of these things happening, but a lot of people were pretty scared. The buildings were actually shaking out here an hour and a half or an hour 20 from Bangkok. So my heart goes out to anybody that got caught in any of the natural disaster that happened today. It sucks, but yeah, man, it's people around the world. The news has spread pretty quickly, pretty fast.
Yeah.
Internet.
I'm glad you're okay, dude, because yeah, it was wild seeing stuff happening. Like just waking up, looking at my timeline, going, "Oh, that's interesting."
Well, I think if I chose a way to die, it would probably be in my sleep. You know, you don't go hungry, you don't drown, you're not lit on fire, you're not dying sick. Kill me in my sleep. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I gotta be here for the streams. I fucking love Doodlegenics. I love Jen.
Action streams getting pulled on YouTube.
Bummer.
We're getting yanked.
All right.
Got to go and cut that part.
I guess if we're going downhill, I just found this really cool thing.
I just stopped broadcasting.
Have you guys seen what like tears look like under a microscope?
Probably like
all
my
that
wallet in
makeup
the
in
bear
it?
market.
What?
Yeah, see, with all that makeup in it.
It's like,
Oh, that was good. That was good. You had me going. Wait a minute. Isn't that the guy that makes the signs? Isn't after that the guy who comes with the signs?
oh, wait a minute.
Not that
It's
one.
our
No,
homie Tony.
Dude,
Yeah.
Tony's
What's up,
the man.
homie? I'm Tony.
Tony is the man.
Oh, Tony is definitely the man. Tony needs to make me a sign. I need a new sign for back there.
Oh, this is funny. Well,
That would be dope.
this is good. Blue, appreciate you checking on our investments.
All the property.
All the properties are looking good. Awesome.
Yeah.
Man.
So Prop Base has properties in Thailand.
Look at everybody knows our man homie, our Tony the homie from LC.
Yes,
Slide.
yes.
I'll promote him. Yo, give me-
Yes.
Tony, hook us up with the sign. You want a GM Live sign? Yo, what's up, homie? Give us a sign, Tony.
We're gonna need 4 of them.
We need 4 of them and one. No, we're gonna need 4 of them. Yeah, at least 4 of them.
Maybe
Wait,
5.
no,
You gotta-
what's it? No MOQ, right? What?
That's right. That's right.
That's what he says all the time. It says it a Trump wig, a sombrero, all sorts of stuff.
All right, Scott, let's try this out. Let's see if we can make this happen. Okay.
Let's
Talk to me. Tell me some nonsense.
Oh, can I play you some nonsense instead?
You can just I don't know if you want to play it. Like, do you know what's gonna come up? We might get canceled a little bit.
No, we can't get canceled for just random cartoon thing, right?
I don't think
for
so.
YouTube. Okay,
No,
then,
okay. I mean,
where
is there audio? You got to make sure the audio, because that's a big one that they catch you
God,
at.
now we're taking it all. All right, here we go. Let's go back. Where are we? Let's go to this. Is this it?
He's got me worried already.
No,
I know.
You're not cooking. Yeah, dude.
Pork chop sandwiches. Oh shit! Get the fuck out of here! What are you doing? Go! Get the fuck out of here, you stupid idiot! Fuck, we're all dead! Get the fuck out!
Oh, my bad.
My God, did that smell good?
Detect it. There's no going, and you tell me do things. I done running.
G.I. Joe!
Now, if you don't care, okay, just make sure you're watching GM live.
That was good.
I had no idea what just happened.
I don't know. I just felt.
We're kicking it old school here. All right.
Oh man, have you
The
guys ever
weekend's
seen
almost
that? Have you
here.
ever
It's
seen
almost
those
Saturday.
What did I just watch?
Please,
I don't know what
Wait,
I just
hold on.
watched.
Am I
either.
the only one who has ever seen this before?
Yes, I'm doing
Oh
right
my,
now.
yo, oh my God! All right, so we
Viewers
have
are
to-
lost. We're
yet,
lost
But
in the
I've
studio.
seen others because of you. You've shared these with me. You're like, you gotta watch this. It's so cool,
Yo,
man. I'm like,
just search
What's
for
happening?
G.I. Joe parody, and there are
did I just get the wrong link?
hundreds. There's hundreds of them, and they're great. They're amazing. If you need a laugh, market's down. You want to tear up laughing so hard, just search for that. Play that. It'll make you feel better.
There were actually some really good, like
Those tears,
fat,
if
fat
you
lip
look,
reading ones.
the tears. If you looked at those tears under a microscope, those are of pure laughter.
I'm
Those
that
are joy.
firefighter trying to get people out of trades. Get the F out of here, man. Dump
He
that.
found himself. So impressed.
I totally forgot how much cursing was in that particular.
We
one.
noted.
Yeah, we noticed. We noticed.
Yeah. It's all right, right? It's
Uh,
towards the tail end.
I guess I'll be ready next time. Do I have that button? Let me see if I have that button. It's in here somewhere.
I
Right?
still haven't unpacked the soundboard from East Denver.
You gotta get the Serato going. You got any doodle in your Serato?
God.
Wow. Yeah. Hopefully
You
this
sidetracked a bit.
Oh my God. All right, we got 8 minutes before our guests
Things get serious.
arrives. Yeah, it will get serious.
For all those watching, this show will get serious at some point.
So we have two guests coming in, Brandon and Michael. I guess we're gonna ask the community here. You guys are watching us. Is anybody? I have to be here. I'm the one that's supposed to talk about this stuff. Y'all let me know in the comments. Who do you want from this team to stick around for the next portion of the show?
And who do you not want to stick around?
Is it Tony? Tony, tell us about yourself and why you should be on the dating show.
Well, I do have talent. I didn't make America Got Talent, but
Because you're not
I
from
can
America.
cook. I can cook. I do spaces. I do have a fancy mic here. Shout out to my boy Action. So I'm about that action.
Well, fantastic. Looks like Doodle said nothing about himself in the very few set of words. All right. Let's go over to John. John, a.k.a. Toki Busa. How about yourself?
Well, we are going to be talking to Conduit, so I do know that team, which does help. They've also got quite the extensive background as far as technical information, which I do enjoy. And I've already gotten to see some of what their products will entail. So I might have a bit more knowledge than the other guys up here today.
That sounded very conceited. Sounds like it's all about you. All right, let's go over to Scott.
This is the part, since we're at the end, where I'm surprised you haven't already cut me off because I'm due for the rotation of being cut off at the end of the stream. So, yeah,
Banger.
I don't know what you want me to say.
I want you to pitch. I want you to pitch
Banger in the hanger.
why you should be part of the upcoming conversation with Conduit.
I shouldn't.
Scott, you are
No.
the winner. Let's go.
Come on, that's it. I won, right? It's based off of who provides the best comment. It doesn't matter if it's accurate or not. So there's my
That's
curveball.
exactly
I
it.
get to stay.
Yeah, it reminds
Do I
me
get
of,
one of the devices?
If you ask
Yeah,
us-
you just gotta go to their website.
Don't
and then
even
hit
go.
the
No,
pre-order.
no. I mean, like, we're winning right now. Action. Do I get like a device to test out because I just won best
He
comment?
might have a helium device he could send you.
Whatever. Just send me all of the devices. Your power's too high. You can't run anything.
Thanks for that.
Toki will take half. I'll take half. We'll run it, and we'll just take like a 15% like administration fee.
And then we'll give that to you.
Question, just to wrap it up. Why should we hire you, Daryl?
Oh,
This is time. You tell me why should we hire you?
only people posted the job online now.
We did. We did.
So you're looking for somebody, right?
Mhm.
Okay, here I am. You called, I answered. I mean, it doesn't have to get more complicated than that. And also, if you hire me now, you don't have to talk to anybody else. So. Imagine if you hire me now, done. You see this work, they're giving you, I don't know who assigned you this, they're giving you busy work. If I were you, I'll do yourself a favor. Just hire me. That way, you don't have to interview. You don't have to evaluate. Done. You have your hire. You can go home, rest for the rest of the week.
Love the confidence.
I love that confidence.
That
That's
was
such
awesome.
a good
That's
idea.
that's a good answer.
I like his train of thought, actually.
Action, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
No,
Great. Who muted me?
no one muted you.
Oh, you sure?
You muted yourself. Then.
Yeah, because I was laughing too hard. Oh man,
So
cool.
if you knew you muted yourself for laughing too hard, why'd you ask us who muted you?
I wanted you guys to question your existence, basically. Like, did I do it? I
Two
do
of
this
us
a lot,
can't even
dude.
look at the controls. What are you talking about, bro?
Why can't you log into StreamYard yet?
He doesn't want to log in. He just
I
wants to
am
use
logged
them.
into StreamYard. It says you can only join as a guest
Okay.
whenever I click on the link. What do you want me to
No.
do? I don't know.
Because you don't click on the link when you sign in.
It's the link. I click on the link you sent me. What do you want me to do?
No, that's not the right link. That's the guest link. You have to sign
you
in
send me
to
a
your
link.
account. No. Listen, everyone out there, just in case you run into this problem as well. You go to the actual website, no other link, and sign in. And when you sign into your account, you'll have access to the account that we're on.
I am signed in.
No, you're not.
What's
the
it?
guest
This
link?
the link? Hey, monkey dude. It's
I
not-
know how to fix it if that's actually happening. You can't do it right now because it'll kick you off stream.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to go back to the main screen before you enter studio, and in the top left corner, switch from your personal account to our account.
That's it.
Oh.
Tony, maybe we give you access.
I tried to get Dab.
Wait.
for
Poor
Toki
Toki is getting
picked
picked on. We're not picking on Toki.
No, Action picks on Toki. That's who picks on Toki.
That
Well,
might be
I
more-
got Toki. You
I
weren't
got your
here
back,
last
Toki.
last time for the stream, so they gave me the cutout entrance, the rolling cut at the.
Okay, great.
No, it was even better than that, guys. It was even better than that. He asked me like a serious question, and I was like, "Oh fuck!" You were ending the stream on me on a serious question, and he's like, "All right, the Genzio stream has ended," and then I have to come back next week. It was just totally perfect.
It was pretty good. Not gonna lie.
So Friday, we're having fun here. You're about to get serious and have a good conversation with a couple of guys over at Conduit, which is in all seriousness, great project, and there's going to be packed full of information. And I almost view this as like going to be like a space, but on crack. Like you're going to get the video.
Hey, what's up?
This is
But
Zach.
it's not something Jen.
That was a joke.
Oh, I was gonna say, you know what? I was about to act quick, knowing it might come and add me back to the thing because I have full access to the controls. So soon you're gonna start seeing cut out, cut back in, cut out.
No, we're not done yet.
We're gonna see Action disappear next, even though he has to stick around. But all right,
That was good, right? That was pretty good.
That
Oh,
was
wait.
amazing.
Toki, you'll
solid.
like this. Toki,
It
you'll
took,
like
it took a
this.
second or two for me to get things up here, but it
It
worked
came
out.
in the mail because I'm going through this little phase again where I need to build Legos.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
won.
that one's a nice one, man.
It is a nice one.
So I have it completed right over there, out of view. Now that I point.
I got one as well completed out of view.
Do you want me to go pick it up? You want to go pick it up?
I'm not wearing pants. I can't stand up right now.
You know what's funny is I'm wearing pants, but they're just pajama pants. So if I stood up, I'd just look ridiculous. So
I got Snoopy and Christmas trees on mine.
Everyone's gonna be like, "Where is this stream go?" Oh, look at that!
That's nice.
The final product. That's gonna be awesome. Cool. Oh, we got guests that are on stage.
They're backstage. They're backstage watching us.
Backstage,
and I'm so proud of his background. He looks so good.
Oh, yay.
So
right,
we'll be back, at least the whole crew on Monday, and we'll be getting at it. But you have an amazing conversation coming up here. So I'm going to dip off of the stage here so that you could bring people on.
Tony, appreciate you joining us. It's always a
Thank you,
fun
man. I
time.
appreciate you guys having me. We'll be back on Monday. Enjoy your weekend, guys. I'll be watching the stream.
We're gonna have some takes on Monday, guys. Just be watch out for that on meme coins. That's gonna be hilarious. That's from Tony, by the way. So cool. We got to get Brandon up here. I'm going to go ahead and hit this play button, and it's going to be 15 seconds, and then I'm going to come right back with cool people's on screen. Here we go.
Hey, what's up? But it's not something Gen Z is afraid of.
If you want to survive, you got to build a house.
You know we do not understand.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Get back at the Gen Z Media House.
Oswald, thanks so much for joining us today.
And we're back. What's going on, Mr. Michael Hiles?
Hey, brother. How are you, man?
Dude, you sound amazing.
I told you I upgraded the studio. I even got my light up there. I mean, I bow before the master. You know,
you look really good. Like the setup is clean. You got that Sennheiser, mic boom over there. Like you got the whole setup, man.
I put some money into it. You know, I figure, well, if I'm going to be hanging out with Action, I've at least got to stop slumming.
Is Brendan going to join us? Because I'm okay if he doesn't.
I believe he is, but I know we are like flying at the seams right now, going into mining
he shows up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He was intending to. I talked to him a little bit ago.
Same. He'll be here eventually at some point. Let me ask you, give people a little intro about who you are, because I think they're going to be impressed.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out who I am here. I am, at my age, and I have no idea.
You're one of those people that
ask.
Already found yourself. Like, am I wrong, Brandon? I think he's okay. I think he's found himself. He doesn't have to pretend.
Oh, for sure. I am that guy. I started coding on mainframes as a kid in the late 70s. My dad worked for a software company. That defined my entire career. Started a real world asset tokenization company in 2016 when people were still trying to figure out how to sell tokens and ICOs. And we were already down the road looking at how to apply the technology to regulated capital markets infrastructure and capital markets space. So, I'm a tech CEO. I know a fair amount about capital and raising money and managing money and structuring deals. So just by virtue of having been in the space.
Because people here don't know how to do that.
Well, we're in an interesting inflection point in the industry right now. In fact, I was talking to Brandon earlier about this, like you've got the whole crypto dynamic over here, and then you've got the whole institutional dynamic over there. So the crypto guys are moving this direction. The institutional guys are moving this direction. So at some point there will be a beautiful merger take place. And I think that's upon us right now. So yeah, we'll see.
What's it going to take for us to get there though? Because I feel like that's been a little bit rough. People, like, oh yeah, I'm all about this thing. And I'm like, well, how are you making money? We're not. And you don't have a business.
In the tokenization space, it's been particularly difficult because timing wise, you can have people offer to pay you money for building a solution to tokenize a real world asset, but then there's nothing to do with it, right? You don't have the rest of the market caught up. Finally, that I think that those barriers are coming down, obviously, as we continue to find regulatory clarity and start to right size a lot of the broader social and legislative conversations around people's willingness to obviously make investments. And as you see right now, there's obviously a mad scramble in the stablecoin space. It's like, hey, Tether, USDC, Circle, they've been around for a minute and out there cranking, doing their thing, and then it's like banks discovered this digital tokenized representation of a dollar somewhere. Like all of a sudden, everybody discovers it all at once. So, and I think that dynamic is going to persist into other asset classes. Obviously, we see the writings on the
what
wall.
money is though. Like, how are they just finding about it now? Like hard cash isn't that a token?
Money is whatever the collective decides that the shared fiction is that represents some exchange of value, right? So, I mean, what is money? You have the Yappy Stones in the South Pacific Islands. One even sank to the bottom of the ocean, but they all agree that it's still there. Therefore, they can use it. Who owns the sunken stone, right? I don't know. I don't know these things. Humans are weird.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. All right. Brandon, give us a quick little intro. By the way, we are live on X. We are live on YouTube, as well as that LinkedIn for Conduit, so people can find out about what you guys are up to there as well.
Yeah, Brandon Baker, one of the founders of Conduit. And I've spent my entire career in technology in different forms and fashions. Started and sold 4 different companies before we started on this venture roughly about 5 years ago. I would say, as it pertains to Conduit and this team, it's a world-class team, some of the best people I've ever had an opportunity to work with. And I don't mean just in their brilliance in their mind, because that is true, but also in their hearts. They're truly amazing people, and I feel extremely blessed to be able to work alongside of them. It is certainly an audacious goal of what Conduit is trying to pull off in different ways. But as the saying goes, you bet on the horse, right? And I think that we've got an incredible team that has an unbelievable amount of experience. I love, and I think this is a value statement for us, I love our average age at Conduit. It is not your typical Web3. And again, we've talked about this action. We don't really consider ourselves fully Web3. We're probably more of that 2.5 bridge. We have many, many Web3 elements, and then we've got ties and bridges over into Web2 and traditional as well. And there's an important, we think playing in that space is a really valuable space to be in order to bring what hasn't been brought over. So anyways, that's a little bit about us and Conduit. I'm sure we'll get into more details specifically on tokenization, and you've got one of the foremost masterminds on tokenization here in Michael Hiles. And we are so thankful for him to be such a valuable and vital part of the team.
You're not the only one that thinks that. Like, yeah, sure, he knows a whole bunch, but he's a really nice guy too. Like, gotta give him some credit on that front, man. Because like I'll tell you, I've worked with so many people in this space, crypto specifically, that are like, he's a genius. He's also a jerk. So, in this case, it goes a long, long way in my book.
I can be a jerk. I mean,
well, that's good. You want to have the ability of being one, but choosing not to be. I think that's what that's what matters most.
There's no reason. I'm putting on. If I'm ever being a jerk, it's because I'm intentionally acting to solve a problem, and that's the only playbook that's going to work in the moment. So
there you go. That's a good way to put it. I like that a lot. Okay, so talk to me about RWAs as a whole here, because I do want to make sure people understand, because I talk to people all the time. They're like, well, why does it matter? I'm like, well, yeah, sure, it's a narrative. Sure, it's an acronym that's like basically anybody and everybody's trying to take advantage of. But it's literally the future. It's what we are. Actually, I won't even say the future. A lot of times it's the present for a lot of it, because it's happening right now. It's not something that's coming up. But the problem that I've seen is that people don't know how to not only position it right, but build it correctly. That's been the biggest problem. And there are a few examples out there, right? I'm going to hurt some feelings right now, but that's okay. prop base that we just talked about earlier in the show. I love those guys. They're doing something really cool, but they're not really tokenizing assets the way that most people think. They're providing yield on a on a building, on a rental unit is more what it is. They're not really tokenizing the real estate itself, and people forget that you can't really tokenize things without letting people know who actually owns it. If you're not transparent about it, who's holding that asset at any given time, and all the intricacies that really come with real RWAs, I think has been the shortcoming of this entire industry. And I don't think there's enough people educating others about how it really works, how it should work, and most of all, that they're not doing it right in the first place. So what's your take as far as the industry as a whole right now? Are people doing it right mostly? Are people falling short of their goals? What do you see as the landscape of RWAs right now inside specifically of this Web3 world?
Well, that's a lot. Let's start with just how we got to where we're at, right? We created blockchains and tokens, crypto. And folks were looking at that saying, hey, this is awesome, but what's the real underpinning of the value? You can argue that it's the energy that it takes to produce a Bitcoin or, whatever, right? There's various different thesis around, crypto value, right? Then you have the real world over here, real estate, gold, agriculture, commodities, stuff, just the current operations of the real world around us. And so folks, including myself, said, hey, what happens if you can somehow or another figure out a way to apply the network technology, tokens, etc., and make these tradable digital units of account equal this, bushel of corn in a depository warehouse somewhere, or gold in a gold depository, or a fractional interest in an office building, right? Each asset has its own narrative, right? You've got a specific embodiment of what that asset is, how it functions, what it represents. And then you have, people out there saying, well, what if we just mint an ERC token that represents that asset, right? And great phase one of the market, right? And it was very early, and it's a very it's the pilots, right? It's the early stage of the implementation of the technology into other things. Now, that all being said, is the models that we use to think about right now for tokenization are a decade old. I mean, you go back and you search, how long ago was Digex Gold talking about creating fractional interest ownership in a bar of gold somewhere. And what we've learned in the past decade is that it doesn't work. It doesn't. It's great pilots, right? Everybody, there's millions of dollars have been spent on research and development and coming up with awesome platforms, but there's some key fundamental gaps that still remain in the industry as a whole. You brought up Proppy, right? I love Natalia. I love the group, but there's also a reason now they've shifted into like,
I like Natalia. That was another one. Like that's even another case there. That was prop base. Prop base is in Thailand. So Proppy is trying to come into the US and do what you're about to say.
Correct. And they're trying to now do Bitcoin backed mortgage lending. And, they're because people have had to figure out different pivots to stay alive. Big players have invested in Proppy, right? Michael Arrington. And,
oh, yeah.
There's a number of, very prominent stakeholders. And in particular, real estate is probably one of, if not the most complex asset class that exists, because real estate is not just this pile of wood and sticks and rocks that constitutes a building. It's dirt, it's the improvements of the dirt, but then there's a bundle of rights that embody that asset: right of ownership, right of possession, right of use, in theory, right of destruction of the improvement on top of the dirt. And even some of those rights have subordinate rights For example, I have mining rights. I have mineral rights to the dirt. Well, that's a separate form of value that also has separate rights of ownership, rights of possession, right of use, right? And so, the understanding of the gap between the embodiment of the nature of rights under property law is really still the existing gap in asset tokenization 1.0. That's what I like to call it, great first steps, but still a long way to go, particularly with complex asset classes. And, that being said, billions and billions of dollars of property have been tokenized through the minting of, layer one tokens, and people point to it and say, oh, that's a direct interest ownership in this property. All right, well, how do you enforce that? Right? There's gaps in the legal recognition of the fact that I have possession of this token, but do I really have the right of ownership in that property? I mean, we may have attorneys that create some agreements and things, but again, real estate in particular, being a very complex asset class, also means who's maintaining the property,
right?
Who's managing this property? What's the decision making on retaining a new property management group, right? So it starts to really get into, okay, well, I've got a dispute with this magic bean token that's been created that represents ostensibly my ownership right. But then I don't like what's going on over here. My value is being compromised in such a way. What's my dispute resolution for this, right? In the normal real world, we have limited partnerships and rights and reps and warranties and, investor protections, these kinds of things.
And in crypto,
There's
we
still
have, trust me, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, well, FTX, rug pull, it's still a big challenge. And that's what we sought to solve with Conduit Network is not just only are we a DePIN for tech and decentralized cloud, but the reality that exists under the hood is a very complex temporal graph ledger. And that's some complex terms that I'm throwing at you, but it's basically a ledger of ledgers that splits out these property rights, ownership, right of possession, right of use, but then also subordinate to that, if you've got some subordinate like mining rights or water rights, etc. And it continues to just go forward and split into subgraphs of rights, and then separately obligations, encumbrances, right? You think in terms of mortgages is the big one, right? I've borrowed money and I've pledged this collateral to the bank as part of my loan. But what about HOA, right? Some people are foolish enough to live in a neighborhood where some Karens get to sit around on Tuesday evening once a month and decide whether or not they like you and your backyard decor. And, oh, by the way, if you don't pay the HOA fee, probably in the title somewhere or in the HOA agreement, they have the right to kick you out of your home and foreclose on your property.
Yeah,
that's an encumbrance, right?
$350 on my end. I was smart enough to get one of those properties.
Yeah, I hear you. But again, it's like, how do you accommodate and account for these complexities in a digital environment? That's why we call it a digital twin, because we're trying to mirror the real world. A token on a layer one is not necessarily a digital twin of the real world when you start to unpack the complexities that are all embedded into all of these things.
And some of the promise around tokenization and really Web3 as a whole was, cutting out intermediaries, driving efficiency, so increasing velocity of something. And usually that was around value transfer or commerce, right? And so when you look at those tenets of what it's trying to solve, if you don't have those things and you're not fulfilling those things, then the question you arrive at is, then why are we tokenizing it? What are we getting out of it? So to Michael's point, by just creating a digital twin, have we actually done anything? Have we transformed any new value, velocity of capital, anything, right? Have we drove efficiencies? Because if we haven't, then what's the point other than to claim that you've got this out here? So what Michael's talking about is, until you really look at the complexity and the depth of what tokenization should be handling, and until you can have a system that can start to handle that, move metadata transfer rights, move all this at a velocity of, let's say, a token. Until you can do that, you don't have a net gain. You have a start of a theory, right? And
so
that
you have a crypto project.
Yeah.
You got something.
I don't try, like, I'm not trying to be like rude about this, but that seems to be what's happening a lot. People are making claims that, hey, well, we are tokenizing X, Y, and Z, but in reality, they're not really tokenizing anything. They're creating a token and saying this supposedly represents that, but there is nothing that says that's real, that's factual, right? It's, you know, a hope and a dream. It's, you know, they extract the value from the same way that the US extracts, you know, makes up the value for the dollar. I don't know how else to describe it. Is that a fair way to put it?
Yeah,
sort of. Yeah, I mean, it gets into the complexities of what's in the agreement, right? You know, we're making an agreement that says this particular smart contract represents something, whatever that thing is. I've got a receipt, a token of that smart contract, but you know, until these things are actually tested in court, and you know, it's still very early in the space, but I suspect that, you know, you're going to see more and more cases make their way into courtroom jurisdictions. You know, how do you take your token into court and show it to the judge and say, hey, well, I own this, and therefore, you know, these guys are trying to sell the property, you know, mineral rights out from underneath me, and it wasn't treated in my agreement, therefore I'm due a share of, you know, the mineral rights sale or the lease of the, you know, mining operation in this tract of land somewhere, right? And you know, you're looking at, you know, old guys with robes and benches that can barely, you know, use this thing, right? And you know, it's like, I don't know, you know. So what are they going to do? They're going to revert back to what they know, what's in the agreement, what's in the
100%.
Right? Wait. So hang on a second. Does that mean that code is not law?
Code is not law. Law is law.
Is there a way to bridge that gap?
I believe there is. Yes,
I believe so too. I fully agree. But we have not when you've heard this term of codifying law, we have not done that, to be very, very clear. At best, people could make arguments of very specific portions.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that you can't do a portion and leave out this and believe that you're going to have a substantial argument, right? Or a basis to stand on. And the other thing is that we can't forget how powerful and important case law is.
True.
Which is history, which defines a lot of decisions today. So if you're not taking that into account and making that a consideration in what you build, you're going to cause, and the ripple effect to this, Michael's talking about dispute and one-on-one, but the ripple effect to this into huge industries that play into this, like insurance. How are they going to underwrite things? Because they're used to a specific set of agreements and laws that they also follow, right? So it's this web that revolves around law. And until you actually codify that to the best of your ability, we're not getting there. And we don't have a net positive, so to speak. Now, if you can, be very clear, if you can do that and drive a system that is able to actually fulfill those tenets, you've got something with an inordinate amount of value, which is why everyone's interested in it all the way up to the big institutions, because they know if that can be done, what it would unlock and transform in terms of value and velocity and capital and liquidity. All of those things come together. It's a huge opportunity, which is why you have people that are like trying to look into it, because the opportunity is very real. The implementation, not so real.
I'm not going to beat around the bush, Brandon. Like, do you think that's one of the reasons that people are looking at Conduit the way they are right now? Because this wasn't the case just a little while ago when people didn't understand it. But now I feel like people are going around going, yeah, did you hear Conduit? You know what they're able to do? Do you know how they're doing this? Can you kind of tell everybody like how your DLT differs from others?
I mean, I think it's everything that Michael has said. And I think what you're expressing is true. And it comes down to this. When Michael goes and has a conversation with the institutions, and when he paints what we built, what they very quickly identify is you understand the problem. That's the piece. because they know their world very well. They know all the things that they have to do, that everything that Michael's painting out, right? So when you talk to them about a technology that addresses the full problem, you are on a completely different plane right then and there. Not saying that they're all of a sudden saying, absolutely, let's go, but you shifted the conversation from the beginning, because most of the people that are building don't understand the full complexity of the problem. And so what they build is a partial implementation or a subset of a problem, not the whole entirety. And until we get the entirety, we're not going to go where we're all hoping to go, but it is achievable. And so when we backed up, and this is why it's taken, so long to do this, because this is very, very complex. It's a huge web to account for. The other piece that Michael didn't talk about that is very, very important is the synchronized accounting. Our ledger is not just a basic immutable ledger. It's an immutable accounting system. Okay, so let's play that out. What does that mean? Why is that important? Well, because anything that you do on a chain, ultimately you need to get where?
Oh, in the books, right?
It has to, 100%. And it has to use traditional double entry accounting these are laws that you don't get to change or bend, right? So ultimately, if you look at this, if you're not solving for the complexity of everything that Michael laid out in rights, obligations, and adhering to case law, adhering to the web that currently exists, okay, if you're not doing that, plus you've got to take anything that does happen on a ledger and still transform it and get it into your books. Where are we driving efficiencies? Where are we cutting out middlemen? Where are we increasing velocity?
You're adding middlemen here.
Correct.
Correct.
You are 100% doing that.
Case in point, who's filing the K1 for a distribution of your $10 unit of an apartment building?
Yeah.
You still owe dividend, right? How does that happen?
Right now, it's not happening. Is the answer? Like it's not.
Welcome
But
to
I'm
federal
telling you,
court.
institutions will not be okay with it's not happening. That it won't work, right? So this is to try to summation what you asked, and it's such a good question. Action is that if we could stand on one thing, if there was one thing we could stand on Conduit. And I spoke about the brilliant minds and the people that have been, and the amount of understanding and experience that they have in business allows them to understand the problem. If you can understand the problem, you've taken the first step to getting to the correct solution. And that is the one thing that we get to stand on. I don't know, Michael, if you feel, but I'm like, understanding the problem is it's most of it.
It's
you
interesting.
Can't do that. It doesn't matter what you implement.
I spent a week last week in New York City at the Digital Asset Summit. Great event, by the way. It was one of the better institutional events I've ever been to, and it was real interesting. I mean, here you got KPMG and BNY and Van Eck and all the big institutional players are really starting to spend big marketing dollars to show up at events with Blockworks, and the elevation of the conversation was impressive, right? Now it's like you got real institutions, real money conversations taking place. But then as I'm listening and I'm talking to people, various folks, there are a couple of RWA tokenization providers there. And you just start asking a few simple questions, and it's like, I'm going to have to exit this conversation because I'm not trying to rain on anybody's day, but you're just like, they don't get it, right? And then you go have dinner with KPMG, and which I did, and sit down and you realize they get this traditional part over here. They're trying to figure out all of this stuff over here. And it's, again, it's that inflection point of the world's moving together, but we're not there yet, right? And it's these types of issues, it's these types of questions, and subsequently the answers and the solutions that have to be put in place. Everybody looks at the future and says, oh, RWAs are going to be, trillions of dollars and blah, blah, blah. Yes, they will, but only because we've solved this list of fundamental problems.
KPMG is one of the big four accounting firms, and you're telling me that they don't get how to do this?
No, you got tokens and blockchain.
To be very clear, I want to be clear. They don't get the implementation.
Correct.
Technology implementation. They know this side.
Well, they know
inside and
accounting. There's
outside.
no question they know accounting, right?
They're like, right now, when they look at it, they see a square peg and a round hole. Because they're like, it's stuff that I still have to do and account for and everything. I don't see it over here. So how to Michael's point, this right here, how does that happen?
And conversely, they actually do understand the crypto world, right? They're smart people. They're technologists, right? These are not ignorant people. They're very, 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 very capable, smart folks. It's the merger and the meshing of the two in the middle, and the crypto folks over here, which lean heavier on the technology side, haven't had enough dialogue with the traditional TradFi folks over here to really recognize that in order for us to get to, $50 trillion of tokenized real world assets globally, you're going to have to solve for this and this and this and this and this and this and this. We're there. We figured it out, right? We didn't just go out and hype our way into it. We went quiet. I went dark with my company, with 10XTS, as I started moving towards Conduit a couple of years ago and started, people were calling me up, asking me, are you guys still in business? Well, barely, but we're really focused and we're really, really busy, right? It's like, we're down we're down the rabbit hole. We're actually building, we're solving, we're figuring this stuff out. And that's the only way it's going to happen. You're not going to hype your way into it. You're not going to ride on your Big Co logo. Well, it's BNY. They must know it all, right? No, they don't. They don't. I'm sure there's some smatterings of pockets of subject matter expertise here and there, inside of organizations, but just by virtue of being big, giant corporations, and then how corporate venture, corporate innovation, it always takes 10 times as long and costs, 10 times as much money to get there. And we, as an early stage project, I mean, we're really not early stage, because you're talking about a blending of companies that have been in existence, solving for different facets of this problem separately, and we came together. So we're a very mature startup, by startup nomenclature. We would be a Series B, type of a project, just by virtue of having been already down the road. Now we're combining forces, we're combining technology, we're combining competencies to then move forward. So while Conduit is new, we've been at it a while individually, and then even been at it together for a while before we started to even talk about it, right?
So what I'm understanding is, make sure I can clear this up in my own little fifth grader brain, is that you have companies that know how to do accounting really, really well. They know how this stuff works.
They're writing the rules,
but they don't know that technology is already up to par, where you can actually automate some of it. You can make it immutable. You can make it public or private, depending on how you want to display the information. Like, technologies already exist for you to be able to take RWAs to the next level, and they're just looking at a very slim slice of the pie that's out there in your ETH world. And what kind of protocol can we use? What code has been written that we can leverage, instead of going, all right, how can we create what we already know in a way that meets the standards of this new technology that's out there? Is there a fair way to assess it?
Yeah, I mean, the blockchain and crypto as it exists is what it is. It's the evolution of where we've come from. So it gets all the spotlight, it gets all the focus. I just saw the Depository Trust Corporation. They've now joined the ERC 3643, or I forget what it is, EIP association, right? And it's like, oh, we've got, big players are signing up to 1.0 approaches, right? So and it's sort of weird, because you're like, well, hold on, time out. We've got a different approach that is it's not solving the problem of you need a faster horse, right? When you're building the automobile, right? It's not like that. It's, we need to take what we've learned, unbundle it, and then put it back together again in a different way with maybe some new things. But at the same time, it requires a different view of the retrospect of how we got here. What are the standards? What are the EIPs? Those are all great, right? But do they actually solve the actual problem? No, they don't. Just like AI right now, everybody's clamoring about, well, just throw more GPU at AI compute, et cetera, et cetera. You're hitting a ceiling of efficiency of the approach to training new models. It doesn't matter how much more power you throw at an AI LLM, you're only going to get a marginal incremental improvement in the model. It's the Galton's paradox, right? It's the regression to the mean of you can't just keep doubling compute and expect the results to double. It doesn't work that way.
So we saw this with the automobile. Like, well, I didn't see it. I'm not that old, but when it first came out, it was like, yeah, this is just a fad. I mean, like not only the general public, you had experts going out and saying this thing, like, yeah, it's not really practical, right? It's a novelty. Like, if you're rich, go ahead and buy one, have fun, but it's not going to catch on. Do you see this technology being sort of similar?
Of course. I mean, you have the Gartner's hype cycle, right? That's just inescapable, right? Thankfully we're past the Main Street pure hype. That's pretty much gone. I mean, people are still launching meme coins and rug pulls still take place, but
make sure you subscribe so I can tell you about the next one that's coming out tomorrow.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? But we're already also through the trough of disillusionment, right? We're now finally getting to the point as a technology industry in general, you've cleaned out all the nonsense. They've all gravitated towards AI hype, thankfully. Now all the marketing, focus is, my AI. How many thousands of new AI companies are there? Cool. Go away and leave the real builders to actually continue to advance real solutions. And you saw it in the web, 1.0 of the early days of the .com era, right? Pure hype. It's like, oh my gosh, we've got, electronic brochures and browsers and, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, et cetera, et cetera. How long did it take to go from .com 1.0 Peapod? I always use Peapod as an example. I thought it was the most brilliant idea, right? Oh, you mean I can go on a browser and order groceries and go pick it up or have it delivered, right? That was 20 years ago. Only in the past, 4 or 5 years have you seen the proliferation of the Instacarts and the Kroger delivery van. It's like, how long did it take to go from the early days of the hype and the marketing and the cycle, notwithstanding the fact that it cost hundreds of millions of dollars to build a consumer brand, right? But I remember those early days when you had those .coms paying millions of dollars for Super Bowl commercials, and it's like, oh no, they cash burned out. Say it isn't so.
Yeah. Money was definitely not spent in the most wise, ways. Giant bought those guys out, by the way. Peapod. That's exactly what happened. A brand that was already well established said, "You got technology that we can use to do our stuff. Great, we'll take it. It." Right. And I see that happening in crypto a lot too. Like, I foresee 2025, 2026 being the 2 years that we're going to see the most consolidation, because people are building all sorts of things. Some stuff is cool, but sometimes just that very tiny little part of whatever they're doing might be cool. And it's time. Like, honestly, I do believe that it's time. Not every altcoin project out there is going to survive, guys. Like, that's just, truth of the matter. I know that people talk about, meme coins are going to go to zero. You have altcoins that are going to go to zero that might be doing cool stuff simply because they don't get the right market fit. But there are players out there that get the market, right? It's what you're talking about, understanding both sides of the equation here, not only the tech, but also the real world value that it's supposed to bring, things that it's supposed to make cheaper, faster, and more reliable. People aren't really focusing on that right now, but I'm sure there are diamonds in this rough out there that, some legitimate companies that are in Web 2 are going to go, we could use that. The same way that Giant bought Peapod, back in 2022. They're like, yeah, we'll take it. And I see that happening for sure. There's no question about it. To me, the more exciting part is not who's going to get consolidated. It's who's going to set the tone for what's to come. Like, that to me means way more, because there has to be a breaking point in this entire, crypto ecosystem that somebody kind of just says, hold on a second. Are we doing this right? And I think that comes from people that are already in these businesses, that are already doing these things, actually generating revenue. Go figure. That's kind of important nowadays. You might not think so if you're in crypto, but actually having revenue coming in makes a difference. Those people are the ones that are going to set the tone. They're going to go, I don't want to jeopardize my organization. I don't want to jeopardize my company. I don't want to jeopardize everything I work for, so many years to acquire, simply to be told by legislature that I'm doing it wrong. And I think that's a bit of a pivotal moment that we're at right now, which brings me to you, Brandon. How are you getting it through that's what you guys are focusing on? Like, is there a catalyst that will make people see Conduit for what it is, and hopefully in all its glory?
Well, I think the first thing, again, I've already stated it, is that when we talk to people that understand, and Conduit's multifaceted, as in it plays in multiple different TAMs, and it is a DePIN, it is at the compute layer, it's an orchestration layer, and then because of the different components that have been built into the DLT, as Michael's talking about, it affords us the ability to play in multiple other spaces, right? We also got this question really early on, which is a very fair question, which is, do we really need another quote unquote L1? Do we need another? And the answer to that generally is no, we don't need another one unless it's solving for new paradigms, right? So we didn't create this because we wanted to have a competitive L1 and go see what we could do. It was because the first thing that we did as people that identify problems is we went to go look for the solution. Has anyone done this? Is anyone solving for this? Because we don't need to build it. We don't need to take the time, the money, and anything else if we can piggyback off of what's already there. The reality is we couldn't find it. And more importantly, we couldn't find the people that understood the whole problem. We banged our head against the wall a little bit in going like, this is important. You need to solve for these things or this won't work. And so that's where we arrived at, like, well, we need to build it, because the first thing was it just doesn't exist, or the path in which what was being built wasn't going to get us there. It was going to get us a step, but it wasn't actually going to fulfill the tenets that we've talked about. And so I think for us, when we can talk to people, and this is really interesting when you go to talk to the traditional markets, and I know crypto's always had this, separation of the two, but the reality is that's where still all of the value of the world exists, right? Is in these traditional supply chains, real estate, capital markets, it's all over there. Until we're able to bridge that over, the fruitions aren't going to come to pass. Now, what's interesting is that there shouldn't actually be, if we look at this correctly, we should want them on. The reason is because if they're on our chain, which they don't get to control, this isn't a top code type of situation where they get to go roll that up. They're participating in it. Value's coming in. What does that do to everybody else?
Yeah, that doesn't happen in crypto normally.
Understand, but that's how we should be looking at it, is actually they have an opportunity to rise and our boats.
Yeah.
So we want them on there. So let's go solve for problems they have. Let's go have an actual go-to-market that says, here is what we can do for you and your business in operating in this paradigm. I say all that to say that when we've had those conversations with institutions, with enterprises, with individuals and organizations at that level, we have really amazing conversations, because the first thing that happens is they now realize and recognize that we understand their problems. And what we implemented and built was to solve those full problems. And all of a sudden, the concept shifts from blockchain traditionally going to talk to them. And what they're trying to do is figure out how to use blockchain. Just in that dynamic right there is a square peg in a round hole. Because if you really have something that changes fundamentally how they're operating, you don't have to try and figure out how to make it work so that we can say we're using blockchain. The competitive advantage is very clear. I walk in and we do X, Y, and Z for you. That output will cause this. It's not, how do I get into this innovative space? How do I use it because I want to say that I'm using it? And so I'll carve out this little portion of thing that actually doesn't affect my business at all, but allows me to claim that I'm using this innovative technology, so to speak. That's what's occurring today.
While running on AWS.
So I'd love to hear what Michael thinks too, but I think that's what I'm seeing is the conversations that we get to have because of the identification of the problem and then the implementation of the technology. we're able to say, this is how it's going to fundamentally change your entire business. And this is why you should be a part of it. Not, hey, you should try this cool thing because it's innovative and you want to, be on the front edge. It's more of a marketing play than anything else, because that's what's happening in a lot of circles. Is it's a very surface level use, really surface, if are hardly any, right? And that's not what we're doing. We're walking in saying, we think we have something that will fundamentally transform how you do business. And it transforms both sides of an income statement, cost and income, both. If you can affect,
you're saving money and making more money. All right. So there is that one piece that's more important than that I think Michael likes to talk about, which is the staying out of jail piece. Does that play into this one?
It's huge. I mean, it's hard enough when you're dealing with innovative technologies, but one sure pathway to resistance is saying, hey, I've created this new awesome technology that enables XYZ, and therefore, your grandpa's old legal code doesn't apply, right? Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should under a particular regulatory regime, as we've seen. I was very unpopular in the early days of tokenization, back in the late teens, early 20s, when I would just basically say, this is not tokenization. This is hogwash. This is not going to work. You're going to prison, right? All this jibber jabber about how, we're going to undo the government, right? It's like, let me know how that works out for you. All right. I can create Heil's Landia all I want, unless I have the might and force to defend it against, I don't know, the Department of Defense. It doesn't matter that I've anchored my own jurisdiction, right? It becomes a difficult conversation when it comes to, law being law. I think the bigger thing from a conduit standpoint is when you get the fundamentals of the shift in the economics of what we enable at the technology base, ledgers, rights, economic proof of economic activity algorithms, these innovative things that make conduit distinct and unique, right? And valuable and makes it work. Just like Ethereum allowed for people to mint their own token atop the base network through some ERC EIP standard, right? We're actually a DePIN of DePINs, in the sense that we have the ability to create, on top of the basic foundational layer, another entire economy DePIN function at the asset class level, right? So while we're launching the tech DePIN, and you've got the core fundamental technology with decentralized cloud and all the cool things that we can do at the tech level, because we're blending and now bringing this into an asset tokenization conversation, it allows us to transform existing assets. Sure, we can just tokenize it, separate the rights on the ledger, asset tokenization 2.0, but it's really asset tokenization 3.0, because we can create an entire mutualized economy around a specific asset class. So now you've got a commercial real estate DePIN, where the real estate and the economy and the financial flow of that real estate operates powered by what's happening on the tech underneath the hood. That becomes incredibly transformational. When you look at pro formas of what that actually means in terms of unlocking latent value inside of assets, because now it's operating with a reward system and all of the things that we power under the hood, it blows people's skulls, right? It's like, wait a second. Not only can I, implement this cool tech and do asset tokenization 2.0, rights separation, obligation separation, I can actually create an entire mutualized economy DePIN atop the tech layer that even has its own utility settlement token, right? Its own economic attributes, its own point system, all of these things that are native to Conduit under the core It's like, well, then what is the actual value of something like a conduit? Because on one hand, you've got the TAM of, well, global cloud compute, right? If we can, you know.
Uh-oh. You're muted, Action.
Yeah, he's really excited there. I don't know if you can tell.
He's very excited.
Yeah. Bring it up this way here. There, he's back. There you go.
There, I'm back. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with
Let me
StreamYard.
bring you back on that screen here. There you have it.
Cool. So, but you know, then when you realize that the value of conduit is not just at the basic tech decentralized cloud compute layer, but it's literally creating these entire economies atop of this thing. What is the value of something like a conduit?
It depends who you ask. And I will say this time and time again, and here's why, because people care about different things in a space. And the value to me is multifaceted, because it's more than just you guys are setting up a system that you can call normies, right? The people that are just doing regular good old accounting understand. That's a huge value. You're talking about the quote unquote mass adoption that people talk about. Well, give them a system that they actually understand and they're actually might be willing to come over, first and foremost. But secondly, to me, one of the biggest value props for Conduit is the fact that you're not trying to be the end all and be all. You're looking to support industries and technologies that may already exist. Like,
correct.
To me, that is like underutilized compute in this world is the worst thing that we can possibly have. Like, I don't want to go out there and say, why? Yeah, we need to build X, Y, and Z new thing, and we got to do that. And like, how much? And I'm like, wait, is there a world where we can actually work together in this thing? So to me, like, the fact that I can get a conduit core, right, and be able to support different networks through it, that's a huge value for me. Like, it tells me that the first and foremost, the ego isn't there to say I'm better than everybody else, and if you're not using me, you are nobody. It's more of like, hey, we have something cool. We want to be able to help others and help them succeed. And like you were saying, Brandon, having that tide lift all ships, as opposed to saying it's us or nothing. Like, to me, that's the biggest value prop there is for my little tiny world. But that's not going to be your accountant's worlds, right? Like, they want to know, like, I just want to use a system that makes sense. I want to be able to export my stuff now and be able to put it in a system and be able to use it later. So I think that it's different for every single individual. And I think that's one of the hardest things for Conduit. You guys have so many cool value props that is like, which one do I tell people about, right? Like, it's massive. It's massive. What would be one of yours, Brandon, if you don't mind me asking?
One of the value props?
Yeah.
I don't have one. I really don't. Your summation was correct. Like, there is so many different use cases for this, which is when you get as low as we did and you solve problems at a root, that's the byproduct of it, is that there are a lot of different use cases that come out of this. I think the best thing, like, we are in probably, if I had to guess, I think we're in the most difficult position right in this moment of Conduit. And it's because it is very hard to explain what you're talking about. But as soon as use cases start to come on, everything will become more and more clear. Ooh. They will. And so use cases are vitally important, because what they will not define the technology, they will show its viability. They will show what it can do. Correct.
So you have the marketplace problem. That's what you have. So I explain this to people in marketing all the time. So when it comes to your eBays of the world, your Amazons, you can't sell the platform. You have to sell the products that are on the platform.
Correct.
That's hard. Like, your guys are starting at a pretty big disadvantage. And I'm going to put you on the spot and say that the second disadvantage that I've been getting hit up by people about is the fact that they want to buy that Conduit core thing, and they're like, it's sold out. What's up with that?
Yeah,
supply chains and tariffs.
Yeah, we will be opening up another round here, but I mean, again, that device is not a commodity device. It has some commodity parts in it, right? But it is a highly customized device for us. It took a long time in engineering and developing all the components that are in it and how it works, which means, like, until we get to some sort of mass scale there, it's very difficult to, do things like hold inventory and turn around and go to the supply chain with an order of 3. That doesn't work. Right. And so we have to sell these in blocks right now, get the orders in, and then go out to the supply chain, get what we need and manufacture them. So until that dynamic starts to shift, we're going to be in that position. And so we had to, stop. We need to get the delivery of the first round of founder units out. We will be opening it up. I promise. We've gotten hit up a lot as well of people wanting to buy it. That it is our goal. We just have specifically probably in the next 30 days, some really big milestones to hit here internally. We want to get through that, get that first round out, get the network started and going. And then our whole goal is to continue to compress the timeline from order to delivery. And we will do that. But right now, when you're starting out, this is kind of the hand that you're dealt, and you got to work through it. So
no, that's absolutely fair. And like, dude, I appreciate honesty so much too. Like, that's talk about value prop. That's a big one for me right there. Like, not blowing smoke up anybody's butt. Like, I'm just come out and say it, because that's what happens in crypto all the time. It's like, you should buy it right now, otherwise you might not ever get it. Like, putting a sold out thing, it means you care enough about the people that are purchasing this stuff to not, blindside them with like, oh, it's delayed and it's delayed again. So I really do appreciate that. I just want to make sure that we wrap up in a really, really concise way here, so we get some action points for people to follow through on, pun intended. First, you can go to cndt.io. That's the website that I was just on that I showed you guys. That's where you guys can find everything about Conduit. But what can we look forward to? What should people be looking out for? I think that's the main thing, because it doesn't end here. This is merely the start of something really great. And I here's the promise I have to you, Brandon. Let me know when you're going to open that thing up. I will, scream from the mountaintops about what's happening at Conduit, making sure that people actually not only understand what it is, but understand how valuable this kind of technology can be for all of our futures.
Amazing. Yeah. Couple things that are happening. We're working towards network launch here. We don't have the exact date. There's a lot of moving parts, as we just talked about. There's a lot of moving parts to this whole ecosystem, infrastructure, everything else, but that is coming imminently. At that which point, you'll have a Genesis mining event, and you will have tokens going out into the secondary market in some form or fashion. So you will have something that people will be able to buy at some point. Again, our algorithm is a mining algorithm through proof of economic activity. So it's not like we're going out and minting a bunch of tokens and throwing them out. That process, the mining actually has to occur, very similar to Bitcoin. And then
shout out USDT.
Yeah. And then once it occurs, just like Bitcoin, again, those tokens will find their way out into secondary markets, and you'll be able to purchase it. We will, again, in the future, we don't have a date just yet, but open up device sales once again. Michael, particularly, we have multiple verticals of productization of how you would use the hardware in the layer 0, the DLT, and everything else, right? And so multiple agreements of people coming on at different stages of the network using it. Michael's heads down on some incredible use cases for tokenization and moving those people on. And so I think what you're going to see probably, let's just say in the next 90 days, is you'll start to see a bigger expression of those use cases, the productization of how this technology manifests. And I understand right now, it being a hardware-based layer 0 that does a whole lot of things, a lot of people have a hard time connecting, like, okay, but what does that actually result in? And I think what you're going to see in the next 90 days or more here is the manifestation of that. I'm really excited for everything Michael is working on and start announcing that and walking through. And that will be a testament to the power of what's been built, right? That's what you're going to see, is you're going to see some, I would say, very decent and sizable announcements that again, you wouldn't be able to get those things. You wouldn't be able to bring those on if this underlying wasn't real. That's what I'll say that it'll express.
All right. Without me getting in trouble, big announcements talking about thousands, millions, billions. You don't have to answer that. Michael, I love Brandon's face. Like, you're gonna
Let's just say that if we continue forward at the pace we're at and even get some additional resources onto the team, which we're actively working on, by the end of the year, if all things continue to progress, we will be the single largest real estate tokenization network in the world.
Can I click end the stream so you can like do a little mic drop?
And if you know the math of the current real estate tokenization market, you're talking billions.
Incredible, guys.
And I think the other thing on that action that's going to happen is it isn't just I don't know how you want to quantify them, the everyday user that's going to start to see this. What Michael's talking about is you're going to see the other institutional players that recognizes real, right? That's an old cliche, but it's true. And when they see what's being done, I believe we're going to have a whole lot more going, how did you do that? What that solves for something, and I want to be a part of it. And the last thing we didn't get to, I just want to go back for a second to what Michael was referring to in terms of mutualized DePIN. If we do this correctly, and I think we do have the ability with the technology to do this, what I'm saying is that you actually turn assets to currency. Think about it that way. And what that means is if you can add the velocity of liquidity and velocity of capital, that is a fundamental shift in terms of unlocking. We talk about unlocking latent compute. How about unlocking latent capital and value?
Yeah.
That's really, really big,
yeah.
Right? And what that has a net effect in a ecosystem. And when you mutualize that across everybody and participating, that is a really, really, really big effect on all the way down to the individuals and families, which at the heart of what we are doing here, it is for them. We have a big heart for the individuals, for families, for rising tides. That you need, in order to rise the tide, you want as many of the participants in the global economy putting into that lake, participating in that lake, and the lake gets bigger. And now you just want to be a participant in it, right? You want to share in the value creation and the value transfer.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. I do have to close out because we got some stuff happening on the Genzio account as well, but you guys are phenomenal. Like I said before, make sure you guys are checking out the Conduit website. It's cndt.io. These guys are phenomenal. Thank you so much for the time. Thank you so much for kind of going over all this stuff. And I'm glad we didn't cover everything because we get to do this again some other time.
Hey, there we go.
More info. So thank you, Brandon, Michael. You guys are awesome. Always a pleasure.
Love you guys. Appreciate
definitely be back. So make sure you guys are not only following this account, whatever you're watching on, but stay tuned because there's way more coming. Thank you all so much. We'll see you.
Hey, what's up? But it's not something Genzio is afraid of.
If you want to survive, you got to build a house.
No, we do not understand.
Ladies and gentlemen.
We're back at the Genzio Nuclear House.
Oswald, thanks so much for joining us today.